Corey Collymore and James Harris bowled the LV County Championship First Division leaders Middlesex back into their game against third place Durham at the Emirates Durham International Cricket Ground on a day both sides will feel relatively pleased about. Batting first after being inserted by Chris Rogers, Durham lost the in-form Mark Stoneman in the morning's fourth over with an edge off Collymore to John Simpson. Stoneman's opening partner, Jennings, batted solidly but mixed it up by pulling Collymore for an early six to get a steady partnership with Scott Borthwick moving in the right direction. Borthwick has come on leaps and bounds with the bat so far this summer, so much in fact that he's now been given the number 3 spot, having spent much of his career low down at number 8. You can see why Durham have made that move too, as the all-rounder played some very attractive shots as he outscored Jennings. He was helped by the fact that Middlesex were missing the country's leading wicket taker, Tim Murtagh, who was with the Island team for their ODIs with Pakistan. Even without him and Stephen Finn, Middlesex have plenty of seamers on offer, but none of them could prize out the wicket of Borthwick, who was playing extremely well. Jennings supported him well too, but should have been dismissed on 30. Toby Rowland-Jones found the edge, only for Sam Robson to drop the chance. To make matters worse for the visitors, the spill cost them 5 runs as the ball rolled onto the discarded fielder's helmet. Harris then produced an unplayable delivery which Borthwick was fortunate not to edge. Balls like that suggested that this was now a very good start by Durham. Borthwick had certainly played well and was rewarded with his second 50 of the summer. He'd needed 86 balls for this one and he reached his mark with his 9th 4. He converted his other half-century into a maiden championship 100, and if he could do that again here, then his high-flying title challengers would be in a very good position by the end of this day. As it turned out though, he was out next ball to end a second wicket partnership of 101. Gareth Berg found just enough movement through the air to find the left-hander's edge. Jennings soon followed after spending 2.5 hours at the crease for his 38. Collymore got him with a leg before decision, which took the umpire some time to answer in the affirmative. So Middlesex were now pumped up and they were a tad unlucky not to get Ben Stokes out early too. Somehow the ball missed the stumps, although it certainly got Stokes' heart beating a little faster. Another inside edge then caused Stokes a considerable amount of pain as this delivery from Collymore ricocheted back into his knee. Anyone who's done that knows just how painful that can be. Middlesex were having a great spell but didn't take full advantage. Stokes was now given a life when David Milan dropped a straightforward slip catch off Harris. So it's probably fair to say that Stokes' innings was not his best. It wasn't too much of a surprise when Harris had him well held behind off the inside edge, although nobody but the umpire was too convinced that bat had hit ball. Middlesex have certainly had better days in the field. A third chance was missed when Paul Collingwood's edge managed to get through the gloves of the diving Simpson. All of this was giving information that this was not a high-scoring pitch. At least that drop didn't prove to be expensive. Indeed, it was Collingwood's only run as he then pulled Harris to Berg to the very next ball he faced. That left Durham on 149 for 5, but they recovered for a while courtesy of a 55-run partnership between Smith, who'd moved from his opening berth to number 4 with Dale Benkenstein missing after an operation, and Phil Mustard. Given the problems some above them had faced, both played calmly, picking off their runs when given the chance to do so, which wasn't that often against a very well-disciplined Middlesex attack. This pair took the total to 204. Wickets then fell at regular intervals, starting with a one of Smith, who on 37 edged a drive off Berg to Milan, who made no mistake this time. Gareth Breeze then edged Neil Dexter behind at 230 for 7, a score which became 245 for 8 when Collymore found some movement off the pitch to bowl Callum Thorpe, and it was then 245 for 9 as Mark Wood was bang in front to the very next ball. So it was left to Mustard to ensure that his side collected a second batting bonus point, moving to a 50 off 97 balls in the process. His innings had been the one to really glue his side together towards the end. It was a very handy half-century. He was eventually out for 62 as he thumped Harris to Rowland-Jones at long on, with Collymore claiming 4 for 61. Durham were dismissed for 259, and that gave Middlesex a troublesome 8 overs to see out before the close. And boy, they were troublesome. The informed Sam Robson was bowled by Graham Onions for a duck in the first over of the reply, while the normally dependable Rogers was adjudged to be LBW in the second over. The two openers with 1,110 championship runs between them this summer were back in the pavilion with a combined score of only 3 this time. And it could have been a good deal worse for the championship leaders before the close. Both Joe Denley and the night watchman Tom Smith survived concerted appeals for leg before from Onions before stumps were drawn, and there were some other close shaves too, but survived the two of them did. They will have been relieved to get off with the total standing on 11 for 2, but more wickets can perhaps be expected on the second day in Durham. The home side will start it with a lead of 248 in this important LV County Championship contest.